What is up, dudes and lady dudes? Welcome back to Just Nuts, guys. Today we've got more cards revealed for Lightning Overdrive. Just like I said before, there was this weird live stream, not weird live stream, they do them all the time, kind of for new core sets and stuff, where they have some of the voice actors from the Japanese anime to come in and they just reveal some of the new cards from the new sets. So we've got a ton of new cards. I think it's like 14 new cards or something, 12. We've got new Rose Dragon cards, we've got a new Honest card, we've got new Live Twin, and we've got some new Ad cards as well. This isn't even all the reveals anyway, and the set comes out in like a week, less than a week now. So we're going to get like still 15 more cards in the next week for the set, and then we'll finally be done with the OCG's 80 cards, which is really cool. Also, my voice sounds kind of like weird. It's because I just woke up, and it always sounds like this when I wake up. All right, so without further ado, let's get in with it. We'll start with the Ad cards. Really surprising, kind of surprised that Ad gets support here, but I'm into it. I like Ad, and maybe this means other archetypes like Marine Cess, other ones of those Cybers archetypes could end up getting support in the near future as well, which is really cool. All right, so the first card is When AI First Met You. It's a normal spell card. You can only activate one per turn. It says you can reveal one Cybers monster with 2300 attack in your hand or extra deck, and if you do, add one Ad monster with the same attribute from your deck to the hand. Also, you cannot activate monster effects the rest of the turn except Cybers monsters, and during the end phase, if you did not special summon the revealed monster or a monster with the same name this turn, you're going to take 2,300 damage. So kind of a lot going on here, but at the end of the day, it's just kind of like a convoluted like search card. As long as you like flash an a Cybers with 2300 attack, it's going to give you the potential to search. What's really cool is it's any Cybers with 2300 attack, which means there's other Cybers cards, not just the Ad as far as extra deck monsters with 2300. So you do have the potential to show, I believe, Transcode Talker. It's a pretty good just Cyber support card that you could just flash and then search. I believe it's an Earth off of him, right? And there's plenty of other ones. I don't know off the top of my head which ones you're trying to end on all the time, because I know a lot of them aren't necessarily disruption, but more so removal, but still, nonetheless, all pretty good. There's a pretty good search card. I don't know if it's a 3 of, though, because it is so, like, kind of, it's not super conditional. It really just depends how the build really shakes out, and if it's worth, if you really need to search a certain card, and if it's going to be consistent with the stuff you're going to be flashing in the extra deck. But a cool search card nonetheless. Definitely welcome that. Combine that with Signet Mining and even more searchability for the deck. It's pretty good. Next up, we have Dark Infant Ad. This is a Link 1 Dark Cybers effect monster. He's got a 500 attack and an arrow that points to the left, so no down arrows, which is definitely important. His materials are one non-link Ad monster, and you can only use both of his effects once per turn. The first effect reads: if he is link summoned, you can add one Ignister AI land from your deck to the hand. Second effect: when a Cybers monster with 2300 original attack activates its effect. Quick effect: you can move this card to your main monster zone it points to. Then you can change this card's attribute to any attribute until the end of the turn. So that's really cool. The first effect is really the main effect for me. It kind of just makes it Bay Links, or the kind of like Marine Cess. Is it Sea Angel? No, it's not Marine Cess. Sea Angel. Whatever. I think it might be Sea Angel. Whatever. The Link 1, you summon it, you just get a free field spell. Except in this deck, the field spell is actually an extender. In Marine Cess and Salamandrates, you search a field spell that actually doesn't extend you itself. It kind of just gives you a little bonus. But the Ad field spell, I believe, allows you to get an extra special summon from hand. So that's really, really nice. That's definitely something that this deck wanted, that just to get that field spell so freely and easily as a plus is actually really, really strong, and it makes it so you don't have to play 3 copies of the field spell, maybe even 4 with like terraforming. Now you play 1, maybe 2. It's really, really cool. So I like that a lot. And then the second effect is kind of an interesting one. Just helps him move zones. I don't know how really important that is, but maybe there are weird combos where it comes up to move him over to make his arrow point to a new zone, something like that. But we'll see. We'll see on that. All right, moving on. We've got U AI, or U and AI, is a continuous spell card, and it reads as follows. If a Cyberse monster with 2300 original attack is special summoned, you can activate one of these effects based on the attributes, the attributes of the summoned monsters, and you can only activate the following effects once per attribute. Okay, so like if you summon the same attribute a second time, you can't do that effect. But that's kind of worded weird. We'll talk about that. Okay. So if you summon an Earth or Water 2300 Cyberse monster, you can have the attack of one face-up monster on the field till the end of the turn. Kind of wish it was permanent. I mean, it's just stat modification, not the biggest deal, but okay. Helps you run over things. If it's Wind or Light, you can negate the effects of one monster on the field till the end of the turn. Awesome. Okay, that one's a little better. And then for Fire or Dark, you can special summon one Ad-Ignister token. It's just a Cyberse Dark level 1/0/0 token. Nothing too crazy, but it is still a body on the board. So, yeah, at the end of the day, it's a continuous. So I do kind of appreciate the fact that this is going to most likely be able to trigger most turn. Like turn after turn, get an effect, get an effect, get an effect, which is kind of nice. I just wonder how actually worth it. The one thing that I think will make this card potentially usable is if you're able to summon a Wind or a Light on your opponent's turn. That's going to be the big thing for me, because if you can do that, if that's a very easy thing for you to set up, then this card actually becomes Disruption. And I don't know off the top of my head how easily the deck can do that, but if they can, it becoming like essentially an in-archetype impermanence will be very, very nice, because one thing I do remember from Ad-Ignisters is, while they do have a lot of utility, a lot of cool removal effects, I remember them not having a ton of disruption. So getting disruption where we can is awesome. It's an AI card, which I believe makes it searchable in the archetype, and I think that's the bigger thing there. But other than that, I don't think this effect, the first effect, is too good, having a monster attack, but it can come up. I do think you're going to be mainly going for like the token on your turn to get that, get an additional extender, or negate an opponent's monster on their turn. Those are going to be the two ones you're going to be looking for. So yeah, that is that. Moving on, we have Donmari Ad-Ignister. It's a level 6 Dark Cyberse effect monster with 2300 attack, 0 defense, of course, 2300. You can only use each of this card's first and second effects once per turn. The first effect reads, when an attack is declared involving your Ad-Ignister monster, you can special summon this card from the hand, and if you do, negate the attack. Okay, so that's kind of like, it's kind of doing the same thing that Altergeist Kumkeri does, right? Like jumps out of the hand, negates something, and then you try and throw it back into the hand to negate something else. But not bad, not great, but not bad. I don't like that it has to wait for a battle to jump out of the hand, but okay. And the second effect says if you control a Link 6 monster, exactly. Okay. Quick effect, you can banish this card from field or grave, then target a face-up card your opponent controls and negate its effects until the end of this turn. So that's not terrible. Like, again, we're looking for disruption for this archetype. I know it is disruption. I don't know if I love it, though, because it does require you to get all the way to the Link 6 monster, but it's disruption nonetheless, so you can't hate on that. All right. And the last card we have here for the AIs, or for the Ignister cards, is Mono AI Mono. It's a trap card. You can only use its third effect once per turn. It's continuous, by the way, so it stays up. The first one reads, monsters your opponent controls lose 100 attack for each card you control. Okay, that's not bad, because it's just continuous. Like, it's just going to be all the time. Your opponent's monsters are going to be weakened, 300, 400, 500 at all times, which actually does matter over the course of, like, a longer duel, for sure. I mean, look at something like Lost World for Dinos. Definitely has the same vibe there. Second effect says if your Ad-Ignister monster battles, your opponent cannot activate cards or effects until the end of the damage step. Alright, it seems like it could be more of a battle-heavy deck, so I don't hate that. It just, people usually are going to be trying to disrupt you before you even get to the battle phase. So I don't know how important that actually is, but alright. And the last effect says when you're adding this, your monster is destroyed by battle specifically, not battle or card effect. You can target one Cyberse monster with 2300 attack in grave, except the destroyed monster, and special summon it. So it gives you a float on battle destruction. I don't think this card's that good. Maybe it's a one-of, just because like it's kind of like a floodgate that lowers all your opponent's monsters' attack at least a little bit. But I don't know if that's actually worth it at the end of the day. So we'll see on that. I think the main cards here to keep an eye on are going to be this spell could be potentially nice, though the continuous spell. The link one is huge. This is the best card here for sure, getting you super easy access to the field spell, and the new spell that could potentially be just another Rhoda for the deck. Those are the three big ones for me. Alright, moving on. We got to keep moving here. We got a lot more to go to. We have Live Twins Kiss-A-Kill Frost. We got like the zombie Lilla. Now we have Frost Kiss-A-Kill. She is a light aqua. Weird combination. Effect monster. She's level 2. That's a level 2 aqua. That's interesting. Totally awesome plays. And she has 500 attack, 0 defense. Nothing crazy there. You can only special summon this card via its first effect once per turn, and you can only use this card's second effect once per turn as well. The first effect reads, if you control a little monster, special summon this from your hand. Okay, cool. This is kind of what I was looking for from the other one. I don't think it has that effect. Maybe it does. I can't remember off the top of my head. But yeah, it's really nice that, like, because they have the one they summon from deck, but they don't necessarily have extenders unless you have exactly like a way to that quick play spell that just summons one from deck. But you got to discard, so you're giving up a 2 for 1. Is it really worth? At least these ones allow you to just say, oh, I'll just special. I already put 1 on the board, let me just special this out. It's kind of cool. Nice little extenders. The second effect reads, if your opponent adds a card or cards from the deck to the hand by a card effect, and you control an evil twin monster, you can banish this card from grave to draw 1 card. And I know that seems like a weird effect, but I actually think that effect is really, really good. So like it banishes itself, which does kind of take away from the strategy. They love to use the link monsters to like reborn all the other like Kiss-A-Kill and Lillas from grave. But if you use this card as an extender, you're not too worried about banishing them because it means you had the other ones already. But this effect is actually really cool, right? Because like it's 2021. Every single deck uses something card effect wise usually to get something from deck to hand. Almost every deck. I mean, you go through the top 10 decks in the game, and probably every single one has a card that does that. If you set this up turn 1, at some point you're drawing a free card. And I know that's not crazy, but over the course of 20 duels, you drew 20 cards in 20 duels. Like that extra card actually matters. And built into an extender, I think this card's actually pretty good. I don't think it like fixes the archetype and makes evil or live twins, evil twins like way better and jumping tiers of competitiveness and all that, but I do think it's a nice card. I do think it will see play because it's searchable, because it's so easily accessible, and it just gets on board. So it's a 1-for-1 that way, and then it's going to get you a +1 at some point in the duel. Your opponent's not going to search because they know they're going to give you a +1. They're going to do it, and you're just going to get a free card, which is really nice. And this deck is like heavy on hand traps, so you could draw into a hand trap. That's just disruption during your opponent's turn, if that's when you're getting it, and that's great. I think that's really good. Alright, next up we have Dark Honest. I already read this. It's exactly honest, but dark. He's a level 4 dark fairy effect monster, 1100 attack, 1900 defense, same stats as honest. Once per turn you can return this face-up card from the field to the hand. Honest. During the damage step, when your dark monster battles an opponent's monster, quick effect, send this card from hand to grave. That opponent's monster loses attack equal to its attack until the end of this turn. Wow, okay. So the only real difference between honest and dark honest is dark honest, I believe, cuts the monster's attack complete, like just makes it 0. That opponent's monster loses attack equal to its attack. So this card's just going to make your opponent's monster 0, whereas regular honest like takes half of your opponent's monster's attack and adds it to your monster's, I think. Can't remember. There's a couple battle traps. I think that's how it works. I know it doesn't do this. I know it doesn't make it 0, but still, it's a battle trap at the end of the day. Not a terrible card, especially if it becomes searchable in a certain archetype that's like dark based, and it's maybe a control strategy that like doesn't want like that. It's almost like Guru, you know what I mean? Like one of Guru's flaws is if you can't get final battle, the battle phase is actually kind of a liability for you. So maybe if there's like a dark deck that works kind of like that can somehow get access to Dark Honest, you might have something to work with there. That could be pretty cool. So that finishes that, and then we move to the final piece here. We have new Rose cards. Let's get cooking. We start here with Basil Rose Shoot. This is a quick play spell. You can only use its first and second effects once per turn each. The first effect says special summon one Rose Dragon from hand or graveyard in defense position. The nicest thing about this card, it does not target, and it's a quick play. So that's really, really solid for sure. I like that a lot. Second effect says if this set card is destroyed, you can target one of your Black Rose Dragon or monsters that specifically list Black Rose Dragon that are banished or in your graveyard and special summon it back. So it's a quick play, and it's hard once per turn. So if you activate one and you set the other, and maybe your opponent tries to pop it on your end phase or something like that, do some kind of effect it to that tune, whatever, something like that, you would still then be able to get the second effect as well, get some actual resource off of it. But I don't know how often that'll come up. The second effect's kind of just a bonus. The main thing is just we're quick play reborn and stuff. That's what we want. That's what we're doing. So I like it. This card's really, really solid for me. I like this card a lot. Next up here we have Blood Rose Dragon. It's a level 10 Fire Dragon Synchro Effect monster with 3200 attack and 2400 defense. It takes any tuner and any non-tuner, so it is completely generic, which is actually pretty nasty. This could come up in other strategies. Its first effect says, if this card is synchro summoned, not special summoned, you can banish all cards from the graveyards. Just everything. Gone. Then if this card was synchro summoned using Black Rose Dragon or a plant synchro monster as material, you can destroy all other cards on the field. Bro, that's insane. And the second effect, when your opponent activates a card or effect that would destroy a card or cards, you can quick effect tribute this card, negate the activation, then special summon a Black Rose Dragon from your extra deck or graveyard. I mean, I think this card's insanely strong. On summon, if you could summon it on your opponent's turn, shuffle, banish both graveyards completely, every card in grave, with also the potential of, if you're playing it in pure Rose Dragons, using either Black Rose or another plant synchro to make it, destroy all other cards on the field. Okay, wipe the whole board and wipe the graveyards. And the second effect, and then just negate something if your opponent has something to trying to destroy him, negate him to still get a Black Rose Dragon out. Even if there's not one in graveyard that you use, you just pull it out of the deck, so it doesn't even take setup for that effect. Insanely strong. And it's just level 10. It doesn't take two tuners or two non-tuners specifically. You can just easily set him up with Hulk. Super easily set him up with Hulk. And that's going to be definitely something to take a look at when we get there. So Blood Rose Dragon, huge new boss monster. Definitely going to be looking at this in not just Rose Dragons, but other decks as well. Very, very cool. Next up we have Rox Rose Dragon. This is a level 3 Dark Dragon Tuner effect monster. 1600 attack, 1200 defense. You can only use his first and second effects once per turn. If this card is normal summoned or special summoned, you can add one card that specifically lists Black Rose Dragon in its text from deck to hand. That could be a bunch of different things. That's actually a really nice search. I believe Frozen Rose falls into that category. I believe the Blooming of the Darkest Rose fits into that. I don't know if Black Garden might also fit into that. You've got this new Reborn card, quick play Reborn spell that would work for that. A lot of stuff this card works for. Very, very nice on the search. Second effect, if this card is in your graveyard and a face-up Rose Dragon monster or plant synchro monster you control is destroyed by battle or an opponent's card effect, add this to hand. Not half bad. I mean, if your opponent just removes something, you get your best searcher back to hand, your best starter card back to hand. I'm assuming it's going to be a really good starter card. It's a tuner, it's a dragon, it's going to have synergy with other cards, and we've already seen the Rose Dragon engine be splashed into Dragon Link and stuff, so I cannot wait to see how that goes. But yeah, this is a phenomenal card just in general in a vacuum. Then we move to Witch of the Blood Rose. She's a level 1 light plant tuner effect monster. Another tuner, very nice. Level 1, so 1-for-1 target, other synergies there. Its attack is 800, defense is 1700. For a level 1, that's pretty high. You can only use each of this card's first and second effects once per turn. First effect, you can tribute this card, as cost, to add a Witch of the Black Rose from your deck to the hand, and if you do, place one level 3 or lower plant monster from your deck on top of your deck. Then immediately after this effect resolves, you can normal summon Witch of the Black Rose from your hand. The second effect reads, you can banish this card from your graveyard to return one of your Black Rose Dragons or Blood Rose Dragons that's banished or engraved back to the extra deck. It's actually not terrible. It kind of makes you feel a little more safe about playing only 1 or 2 copies. That way, if you did happen to go through them in like a crazy grind game, you would be able to put them back, worst case scenario, even if they're banished. So that's pretty cool. As far as this effect goes, it's actually pretty cool. Witch of the Black Rose is an interesting card because I believe when she's like normal summon, she says like you can draw. She's like mandatory draw the top card of your deck, I think. And if you do and it's not a monster, you have to like discard it and destroy her on the field. But what this does is it adds Witch, then immediately automatically puts a plant on the top and gets you the normal summon for her. So you didn't have to use your normal summon on her. It extends her into her. You get the free monster out the top, and it's guaranteed to be a monster, so there's no risk there with Witch of the Black Rose. And I think she just draws it, and if it is a monster, you just keep it, I think. So that's actually pretty cool. So if it's an extender, I'm trying to think if there's any like level 3 or lower plant that's like particularly good to like have in hand. Most of them have like good graveyard effects, but we'll have to look at that later. That'll definitely be something we look at. So very cool. I like this card. I think it's pretty good as well. Then we move to the last card here. We have Garden Rose Flora. This is a level 5 light plant synchro tuner effect monster. Kind of remind me of what's her name? Garden Rose Maiden, right? Garden Rose Flora. She has 800 attack and 1600 defense. Her materials are completely generic, and you can use her first effect once per turn. Her first effect reads, you can target a field spell on the field. You cannot special summon from the extra deck for the rest of the turn except synchro monsters. Destroy that target, then special summon a Rose token. It's a level 2, 800 to its controller's field in attack position. So you could use Black Garden, pop your Black Garden to get another token, or you could pop an opponent's field spell to give them a token. Depends on what they have. That would, if you think that would be worth, but I guess it could come up. And then the second effect says, during your opponent's main phase, you can, quick effect, immediately after this effect resolves, synchro summon using this card you control. Very nice. I can't remember if Garden Rose Maiden herself is a tuner. If she's not, that's very interesting, because if you can make both in the same turn, Maiden gets you Black Garden, which will help you with extending. Then you make her, once you've used Black Garden, you can pop Black Garden to get your other token, and then you can pass, and this card just allows you to quick make Blood Rose Dragon on your opponent's turn, using both, which will then also trigger Garden Rose Maiden to get you, I believe, like a Rose Dragon back from grave. It's pretty good. I mean, I don't remember off the top of my head everything, but these cards make me excited. I think they're all pretty good. I mean, I don't think any of these miss. I think the Reborn spell is awesome. That's an awesome extender and searchable. I think the boss monster is huge. I feel like Black Rose, like just quick making Black Rose Dragon hasn't felt good enough for a while, but actually being able to make this guy does make it feel strong enough, right? Like you're just shuffling whole graveyards and then blowing up the field and having protection from destruction cards after that. Insane. You can also crossroads this out, I believe. Maybe. We'll see. It is a Rose Dragon monster. We'll see on that. You have a phenomenal starter in Rox Rose, just a +1 immediately with the potential to get itself back to hand for follow-ups. You've got her, which gets you access to a really cool play in Witch of the Black Rose. We'll see if that play is actually worth it or if it comes up in combos, but it seems like it could be, right? Like it definitely seems like it could be. We'll see. And then we have Garden Rose Flora combined with Garden Rose Maiden, makes for some insanely resource-efficient plays there, and I love it. I think it's all good, honestly. So I'm really excited to see where Rose Dragons go. I've always wanted to play them slightly more pure, but I've had to play just like kind of needle fiber variants. Once I actually tried to build it to the best of its ability. Obviously, that kind of feels a little lame because I'm like, I'm not really even playing Rose Dragons to their fullest, like actually playing Rose Dragons. It's more so just leaning on those other engines. But this might be the difference in being able to play like a really tried and true Rose Dragon build. So I'm very excited to see how that goes. Of course, we have all the other stuff. I think the Honest is cool. I think everybody's wanted other kinds of Honests for a while now. Very cool. The Kiss a Kill monster, the Live Twin's pretty good. And then as we talked about it, a couple of the new Agnister cards also really helped that deck as well. Now, the last thing I want to throw out there is this is only 12 cards, I think. I think we got like 5 Agnisters, one of this, and then 5 Rose Dragon cards. There's still like 14 cards left to be revealed. The set comes out in the OCG in like 6 days, 7 days. It's like a week away. So we're still going to get like 15 more cards in the next week. So keep in mind on that. I'll definitely keep you updated when those drop. I think these reveals are dope. This makes me even more excited for the set. I hope you guys are too. I'm sorry this video went long, but I really wanted to go in with the cards. I haven't even read all of them, so I wanted to go through and really give you my thoughts and everything. So thank you so much for watching as always. Subscribe to the channel if you want to see more stuff from me in the future, and I will see you in the next video. Peace.